Hello everyone, Don here. Today I want to talk about Tailwheel Shimmy. I've been working on my Workhorse Air project, and I'm looking to put a larger tire on it, a little wider, a little bigger in diameter. And my concerns for Tailwheel Shimmy had popped in my head. So I did some searching on YouTube and found these videos. This is one video of probably the best example of a tailwheel shimmy. What I want to do is show this to you in regular speed. It's only, a minute long, but it'll give you an idea. Like I say, this is like probably one of the most extreme cases of wheel shimmy I've seen. And then I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I think is the cause of tailwheel shimmy that I have not seen anybody talk about. So let's watch this video real quick here. This is in normal speed. This is, like I said, an extreme case of wheel shimmy. I believe this is at normal speed. I'm playing it at normal speed on YouTube, but that is extremely bad. You can actually see up here, let me back up a little bit, you can see the buckling on the fabric on the bottom of the wing, how it's twisting the fuselage so bad. So what I want to show you, what I want to say is I've been working on mine, and I've been adjusting the gear doors on the main gear. So what I've done, go ahead and pause this, this is pretty close to the end anyway. As I pick the airplane up, I'm picking it up just behind the propeller, and I'm letting the plane sit on the tail wheel just like this. And as I pick the plane up, so most of the weight is now back here on the little tail wheel. Mine's just a little 4-inch hard rubber wheel. What I've seen is my wing, the wing over here, the right wing of the airplane would drop low as I pick it up. It would hang low. And then I was wondering, why does it keep doing it? And I look back at the tail wheel, and the tail wheel was turned to the left. So what it's doing is, because the tail wheel's over here, it's off center, so the plane wanted to naturally roll. So keep that in mind when I start explaining what I'm seeing here. So I have to pick that wing up and prop it up so I could swing the gear and check the doors. So anyway, that was my video I just put up last week, so if you want to go check it out, again, it's DinoDon64 is my channel. But this video is about wheel shimmy. So let's go ahead and rewind this thing all the way to the back, and I'll explain. Watching these videos, I watched just about every video on YouTube there is on tailwheel shimmying. And so what I've come to the conclusion is, it's not these springs causing it. It can be some wear in these components. This wheel, when it's running, actually looks like it's possibly a little loose. It's wobbling around, but that's not what's causing it. Some people say you need positive rake or positive caster, not negative caster, and I'll explain that to you with my little tail wheel here in a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and slow this thing down to 25% speed so you can see it more clearly of what I'm about to tell you. Okay, let's get her rolling here. Now watch this leaf spring right here. Watch what this leaf spring is doing. When that wheel is, he's working the rudder, so the wheel is following the rudder. Now it just touches down, boom, right there. Look at this leaf spring. If you can see that. This leaf spring is moving all over the place. The longer that leaf spring, the worse this condition is going to get. You can view this video on YouTube yourself if you want a better image than what I'm just showing. This is like the only way I can really show this. I don't have a means to download the video. But see, that wheel's turning almost 180 degrees, and it's only doing that because it's following what this leaf spring is doing. Now again, back to when I was looking at my plane and the wheel was to the side. Let's see where we're at in this video. It's still at the beginning. It's a fairly long video, but again, this is quarter speed. What's happening is, with that spring moving side to side, it's rolling the tail wheel assembly left and right. It's flexing this way, it's bouncing up and down, and it's also twisting, it's bending left and right. As you can see here, it's just wiggling all over the place. And what's happening, every time that leaf spring moves and it rolls, that wheel wants to go the opposite direction of the way this is rolling, your center hub. So what I see is the tail wheel is rocking, basically rolling from left to right over the wheel, and it's also swinging left to right because of the spring flexing that way and this way, but it's also rolling backwards and forward, side to side. And as you roll that caster sideways, the wheel naturally wants to go the opposite. Roll it back the other way, it goes the other way. So that's exactly what I'm seeing here. It's not a problem of caster where the wheels pitch forward or back. It's this leaf spring wiggling so bad. I've seen some videos where people upgrade their spring. They say spring. Initially you're thinking of these springs, these tensioner springs, but no, that's not it. They're talking about replacing the leaf spring, and more than likely they're going to probably a stiffer spring or a multi spring, because they're generally metal. This one, I can't tell if almost looks like it's carbon fiber. But anyway, the spring is flexing so badly, it's changing the roll of this wheel. Now, everyone likes to give the example of shopping carts in the store. You go to the store, you get a shopping cart, and that front little caster wheel just shakes like this the whole time you're pushing it. Now, if you look down at that wheel, you're going to find out that it is probably, the frame is bent sideways. It could be like bent down on the corner, the wheel could be kicked back, but it's no longer vertical. The shaft on the caster is no longer vertical, and it's probably leaning left or right, and possibly forward or backwards. It's more pronounced if it's rolled forward, which is what they would classify as negative caster. Positive caster is when the wheel is forward, the vertical shaft is backwards, pointing at you. So you can see how drastic that wheel is going and how bad that spring is moving side to side. So that's very, very extreme, and that will literally can tear that thing right off the end of the plane. So what I'm seeing now is, I'll get back to the shopping cart analogy. If you look down at that thing, it's the bottom where the caster is attached to is probably bent, and it's probably rolled left or right, if anything, or the corner might just be bent down and the wheel's now back. So the wheel's doing what it's supposed to. It's following the caster. So that wheel wobbles because it's the vertical shaft that holds this wheel in place is rolled left or right, and then that's causing the wheel to kick out this way. If it's rolled this way, the wheel kicks out that way. And then as you're rolling, the ground is trying to push the wheel back around like it's supposed to, like swivel, but it's just going back and forth because it goes, skips, and then slips back. So that's where and the airplane's doing the same thing. And plus, when you're landing, you're constantly fighting if there's any winds. You're doing this as well, and that is changing this angle here as well. So you come in a little bit like this, you touch down, the wheel's going to kick this way. And then when the other wheel touches down, it's just going to be doing this stuff. So it's not, the wheel's doing what it's being told to do. It's just that this is not rigid enough. Now on my Workhorse Air, let me back up out of this thing. I think it's all the way out. I got my tail wheel. I went down to the airport last night just to pull my wheel off because I wanted to see what I could do about getting this axle, which I left outside. I tried to film this outside, but my internet wouldn't work out there. My shaft on this was too narrow to put a wider tire on. I can only put an 1.5 inch wide tire, and that's what this is. Right now I've got a bolt going through there that's longer and a spacer to center this thing up. But what I want to show you is basically what's going on here. When I'm going to roll this thing left and right, and you can see what the tire's doing. When you roll this thing, this is an extreme case of rolling it, but if this thing was rolling on the ground, it would respond a lot faster. Because this only has 1/2 of a yoke here, the weight of it wants to roll this way to begin with, away from me. Sorry for the lighting, it's all the lighting I got in here. So anyway, turn this monitor so I can see it, but just the very slightest turn left or right, you can see how much that tire responds just from moving this axle basically left and right. So the caster is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But when you've got this leaf spring out here that could be, foot or two long, it's going like this as well. It's springing left and right, and because it's springing this way, it's also going to roll that way. So it's kind of doing this arcing motion. and that wheel is just doing what it's supposed to do. It's castering just like it's supposed to do. So it's not a problem of the springs on the horn that are weak. It's the leaf spring itself is too soft. The leaf spring's meant to do this. It's just meant to come down and do this. But it's not doing just this. It's doing this, and it's doing this. It's twisting, and you can see just rolling this back and forth, just ever so slightly to get it in the right position here. Just rolling it left and right. You can see how that wheel's just dancing all over the place. And give you kind of a straight-on view of what I'm talking about. Again, this side's heavy, so it favors rolling that way than it does the other way. And that one in the video is a dual horn. So it's the side-to-side motion of this shaft up here, and the caster is just falling. If I hold this, that's holding the wheel, because that turns the wheel on this one. So, but that's what I'm seeing. So I took this off to. I was able to press out the original axle. I didn't know if it was screwed in. I thought it was all one piece, but it turned out it was pressed in, and it was like peened over, and the original finish on it was ground, so I couldn't tell how it came out. So I was able to go in and press the axle out, and then it fits a perfect 1/2-inch bolt, slides right in there, spacer, nut, and then you can tighten it up. So now I went and bought a bolt and a castle nut, so I can replace this with a 2 1/4-inch wide wheel, 6 inches in diameter. See, I've got plenty of room here. 6-inch wheel is only going to be about this much taller, 1 inch higher than this, and 1 inch higher off there. So it will definitely fit. So, and then on this here, I have a centering locking spring and detent, but I took it out just so you could see the effect of what this is doing. So that's kind of what I'm seeing is going on. So if you have a tail wheel plane that has that kind of shimmy, like if you can get a camera mounted, this is a perfect example of a good video showing exactly how bad that is. And this one's problem is the leaf spring. It's not the tire. It's not the bearing assembly. It's not the caster. It's the leaf spring that's the problem. So I just wanted to make a video on that. Again, for my followers, this took like a minute, and just pulled this bolt out here, pulled this bolt out here, and brought it home so I could see what I could do with this, so I can get a wider wheel on there. So that's why I got that off. So today the weather's crappy, raining, blowing, so I couldn't work down there anyway. Just pulled it off last night, brought it home. So now I'm going to order up a bigger tire and then rebolt it on, take it back down, put it in, and off to testing again. So if you having tail wheel shimmy problems, keep this in mind. All you gotta do is look at it, and you can clearly see it's not the wheel, it's the leaf spring. So again, folks, all right, thank you for taking time to watch this video, and hope you learned something from there, and hopefully it's useful to you guys in the future. So again, thanks for stopping in and checking it out, and wish you guys the best. So I'll see you around later. This is Dino Don out.